Tablets, a highly convenient form of a desktop computer, except they are portable. They have really taken the world by storm. They come in different brands such as Samsung, Acer, and Toshiba, to name a few, and in various OSs such as Android, iOS, and Windows 8. Tablets have a lot of functionality. They come along with them and keep you connected to work around you, performing the same tasks as if you were at home. What's the best thing outside of a tablet besides it being portable? Accessories. There are hundreds of different cases that come in different styles and colors, styluses, and even keyboards. The most colorful ones, the keyboards that can be bought with a Windows 8 tablet. Microsoft created these keyboards for you to express your personal style in colors such as pink, red, and blue. You can take your pick because more than likely Microsoft has the color in which you're looking for. With the combination of the tablet and its portability and the styles that you can add to them, it gives the user a more enjoyable experience while also at the same time adding their own personal taste to the tablet. What makes a tablet unique outside of the accessories that one can buy is the OS, of course. I want to focus more on Microsoft's Surface Tab, which is equipped with Windows 8. Windows 8 is another iteration of Microsoft's reinvention to their Windows platform. With Windows 8, they went for a more simplistic approach on a tablet by having tiles called Metro tiles. These tiles display the things that are important to you, such as pictures and news updates. Microsoft called these type of tiles live tiles. Your tiles will update throughout the day with new information that you want to see and what matters most to you. Along with the tiles, you are able to customize the look and the feel of the OS by changing the theme. Once you change the theme, such as with different colors, this is taking effect throughout the whole entire OS, even down to the fonts of the words. Now, under Windows 8 is Windows 7. As you might notice, it looks exactly the same as if you were on a desktop computer at home, with the same functionality as you would come to expect. In order to access this, you will need to select the desktop icon to gain access to Windows 7, which is up under Windows 8. The brain is a magnificent organ. It is a central control center for everything that we do, from our emotions to the pain that we may feel. The cerebral cortex plays a key role in memory, attention, and perceptual awareness through language and consciousness. It is divided into four main regions or lobes, which cover both hemispheres. The frontal lobe, which is involved in the consciousness, thought, and higher mental functions such as decision making, particularly in the part of the frontal lobe known as the prefrontal cortex, and plays an important role in processing short-term and both long-term memory. To go more in depth on how the brain learns and processes information, we can say that with more than 90,000 miles of fiber, intricate architecture allows us to absorb information quickly and efficiently. Learning mainly takes place in the synapses, the junctions between the neurons where information is relayed. A synapse's performance changes when we learn something new, obeying the principles that cells that fire together wire together. So, for example, if you're trying to learn the name of somebody new, every time you hear this person's name, neurons fire simultaneously, strengthening the synaptic pathway. That then connects them, in which turns learning makes the brain grow larger in the process, while creating new connections within the brain, also known as spines. Made up of bones, joints, muscles, ligaments, and nerves, the body is the physical part where we can pick up, touch, walk, and run, for example. These tasks are carried out by the nerves that are throughout our body. The nervous system consists of the brain, spinal cord, sensory organs, and all of the other nerves that connect these organs with the rest of our body together. These organs are responsible for the control of the body and communication among these parts. The brain and spinal cord from the control center are also known as the central control center, CNS, where information is evaluated and decisions are made, which in turn a physical action is produced. How does the brain process the information presented to it in tablet form using Windows 8? NAR explained it as best as a double desktop, which equals a cognitive overload, an added memory load, and a lack of multiple windows. Equals memory overload for complex tasks when users can't view several windows simultaneously. They must keep information from one window in short term memory while they activate another window. This is problematic for two reasons. First, the human short term memory is notoriously weak. The second, the very task of having to manipulate a window instead of simply glancing over at one that's already open further taxes the user's cognitive resources. So users are ending up fumbling around using more resources in their mind trying to figure out where what is and how to do something. With Windows 8 being a cognitive load on the brain, how does this really affect the physical? Well, for starters, when a user is able to access the desktop version of Windows 7 on the Windows 8 tablet, the icons are fairly small. For a person with larger hands, it can be harder for them to navigate, and this in turn leads them to selecting the wrong items. So how does the mind and body connect when it comes to using a tablet? As stated before, that Windows 8 on the tablet is a cognitive load, and with learning mainly taking place in the synapses, the tablet version of Windows 8 introduces a bunch of complicated gestures that are easy to get wrong and thus dramatically reduces the UI's learnability. Something doesn't work, users don't know whether they did a gesture wrong, the gesture doesn't work in its current context as stated, or they did something gesture-wise completely off. This makes it hard to learn and remember the gestures, and it makes actual use higher error prone and more time consuming than necessary. So it is like the user thinks this is how you do something, the brain sends a message, and the physical says do this, touch here, swipe here, when in fact it is incorrect. Which leaves the user frustrated due to not knowing how to work the tablet, and the user is shown things on the screen that is not what they're looking for or wanting to do. Because of this, charts have shown Windows 8 on a tablet after 10 months after being released as only having 8% adoption rate, and it is due to people not understanding and they want something familiar. Familiar is big nowadays. That is why you see Windows 7 as with having an 18% adoption rate among users, following Windows Vista with a 7% adoption rate. And how does this result in market share? Other top OSs such as Android and iOS, to name a few. As you can see, Windows does not entirely have 10% of market share. Users are just not interested in it. So what are the risks using a tablet PC? Well, according to WebMD, exposure to bright light or straining to see in dim light can cause eye fatigue, also known as computer vision syndrome, that affects 50 to 90% of people that use on-screen based objects such as computer screens, smartphones, and video game systems, and is responsible for upwards to 10 million eye exams per year, with syndromes ranging from sore to irritated eyes, dry or watery eyes, blurred or doubled vision, and sensitivity to light and pain to the neck, shoulders, back as a result of this. A Harvard study on tablets found that when users are using a tablet, their head and neck flex and fell somewhere between 15 to 25 degrees outside of its neutral range. Users tend to hold their heads out and look downward when using a tablet on their laps or on a tabletop. That in turn puts stress on the neck muscles, far more strain than someone using a traditional computer, who can maintain more or less neutral positions where the weight of their head is supported by the bones of the neck and spine. As you can see in the picture, the user's neck and head are leaned forward into a position to where one can use a tablet in lying position or on a flat tabletop or on their lap. Also, while using a tablet PC, a user can also be exposed to carpal tunnel. According to InfoWorld, the awkward position of the fingers while handling the tablet PC, including the tapping and swiping, can eventually lead to this suffering syndrome. So how can we prevent or reduce the risk of injury when using a tablet PC? Well, for starters, use a case with a stand to where it positions the tablet at an angle that would be more neutral for one's body. If in this case of a Surface tab, there is a built-in stand on the back which can be used. In a Harvard study to take a look at the effects of tablet use, researchers wired up subjects with an infrared three-dimensional motion analysis system to think of it as something akin to the motion system capture used in movies, and asked subjects to perform a range of tasks with tablets in 4 different positions. Overall, the researchers found that subjects came closest to generally accepted neutral ranges of head and neck flexing in the table movie posture, with the neck being well within neutral values and the head falling just inside of it. Another intervention is to reduce the distance and time in which a tablet is in use. It is suggested that a user can try the 20-20-20 rule, which is for every 20 minutes, look away about 20 feet in front of you for 20 seconds, and also to take regular breaks from computer work. Intervention is a detachable keyboard. With Windows 8, you can get keyboards in different colors that attach directly to the tablet, or if you have a different tablet such as a iOS tablet or Android tablet, you can get a Bluetooth keyboard.